everybody. This is 1100 WSGI. This is one street over, and yes, if you've been on my social media, you've been hearing our little back conversation about technology issues. So Android versus iPhone. What it got on the microphone to you. Terry Wilson is here, and Scott Erwing. This is our military day. My husband this morning is like, who's our guest? That's when we talk to the Veterans Office here. The Veterans, what is officially the office called? Robertson County Veterans Service Office.
It's time to go to the races here in Robertson County. If you want to have a great time with your family, get out to Veterans Motorplex. This is the old Highland Rim Speedway you're familiar with at 6801 Kelly Willis Road in Greenbrier. Jerry wants to invite you and your entire family out. He's even got a free pass for you. If you find one of these List Talk Trash magazines that they put out at the end of the school year, you can still find them around town. But that back page is a free pass to get up to 6 kids and 2 adults in for free anytime during the entire 2023 race season. Bring your family out. Gates open at 4. Racing starts up at 6, and you will have so much fun. Come hungry. They got a great concession stand. They have all kinds of events and things for the kids throughout the race season. Follow them on Facebook at Highland Rim Speedway, and that way you can stay up to date on everything that's going on at Veterans Motorplex. A great way to spend your Saturday evening with your kids, with your family, with your friends through the end of October. Get to the races today. Saturday is race day. And when you go out, tell them you turned Cincha. Corbin Creek Greenhouse, Gibson Gardening Center, your one stop for everything you need for summer, for your yard, for your garden, beautiful things for your porch and your home. Great gift ideas. If you've got a gift that you need, go into the greenhouse. You're going to find something alive and beautiful. And then go into the office, go into the gift shop. And there you're going to find handcrafted items, some really cool stuff from Miss Jane. And you're going to find Robertson County CBD. CBD produced from plants grown right here in Robertson County by Amy's brother Bill. Those plants were grown by him, and that is processed into the products you find there at Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gibson Gardening Center. I swear by them for my arthritis problems, and it may really be a game changer for you as well. Everything you need, if you've got questions and things that you just want to run by Amy, give her a call at 615-384-3185 or just stop by and see her at 4920 Highway 161. They're at the Farmers Market every week as well, and they're 9 to 5 right now, Monday through Saturday.
That was fixing bugs.
Kinda, but truly.
1 to 4 on Sunday. Got a vegetable garden that's going to be coming in anytime with fresh vegetables and produce. Go and see them today. Corbin Creek Greenhouse Gibson Gardening Center. Tell them you turned Cincha. Robertson County, it is time to join the gig club.
Right into what's going on with the Veterans Office. How about that?
Hey, works great. We're there.
I love it. Well, and you guys were talking, and we're not going to get into specifics, but you were talking about helping somebody.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And I told you, I said, we can hear now. But that's what you're here for. If you hear about somebody that's maybe a family member of a veteran or a veteran themselves that's hurting, folks, this is the time of year. If you're looking for a place to donate, to help, pour into our veterans. And it's a tax-deductible donation, correct, if they make it to the office?
Yeah, well, if they make it to the American Legion or the VFW.
Okay.
And because what they do is they actually, if it's a cash donation, then they can actually make check out to American Legion Post 45 or VFW Post 2120 and earmark it for the Veteran Service Office. They hold that money off into a separate section, and it allows us to tap into it without having to go through all the red tape of trying to get so many officers to approve it, and we're actually able to approve it in our office.
Right. So it's like it cuts out the middleman, and it gets money right into the hands of those that are in need, that have served our country, whether it be them themselves or through their family member. And that's what you guys do, is y'all identify those needs, and we appreciate that big time.
And we do everything on a case-by-case basis. So now if we're looking at a utility bill, we try to tell folks, our vets and our surviving spouses, hey, if it's going to be utility and you're going to need some help, get with us before you get the disconnect notice.
Yeah.
Get before us before you get the late charge. Help us save a little bit of money to help the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
And don't come in when you're 3 months behind.
Yeah. Well, people hate to ask, and a lot of the times, I think you were the person you were talking about. They didn't ask. You just knew the need.
Yeah.
And here's relationships, guys. We talk a lot about this in regards to your spiritual family. If you have a relationship with the spiritual community, they're going to recognize your needs. You're really not even going to have to tell them a lot of times. You need to be honest, but the same thing with your relationship within the veterans programs.
Yeah.
You need to have a relationship. And when you have that relationship, maybe you're like, I don't really have anything going on, but we're a veteran family. Come in and talk to you guys. Make sure that you've got all your paperwork together. Say if somebody passes and they want to have a military, burial and funeral. Those are the kinds of things you don't want to have to do when you need them. You want to get this relationship started. And that way, too, if you do have something come up, if they know you and you've already got a relationship with, it's just going to make it so much easier to get the help you need when you need it. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, because I've had times where I've gotten a phone call that a loved one passed that night or early that morning, and they'll call and say, I don't know where any of the paperwork's at. Well, fortunately, they had done been in to see us.
Right.
We got a copy of it, and my two questions is which funeral home are you going to, and what time are you looking at being there? It'll be there before you get there.
Awesome. We're talking with Terry Wilson. We're talking with Scott Erwing. They are with the Veterans Service Office here in Robertson County. We have the best one in the state. Truly, I think that's an easy thing to say. We do. We take such good care of our veterans here, and it's because of these two men, and of course, my friend Gwen Harder, who is absent today. But she said, I messaged her last night. I said, who's coming tomorrow? Because we're kind of in this transitional period. I know Scott, we have to kind of drag him kicking and screaming sometimes in here. Hi, Scott.
Hi, good morning.
Welcome.
Thank you.
You can go ahead and talk.
It's good to be here. We were talking about relationships, and Terry spent years and years doing something other counties, for whatever reason, don't do, which is develop the relationships with the local organizations of VFW, the American Legions, and it helps so much because of the red tape that we do have. When you have that good relationship with the outside organizations, you were able to assist families right away. And with so many of the things that we do, it just takes time. And sometimes families come to us behind the eight ball, and we're kind of really struggling to do what we can. But Terry's done a fantastic job at making sure we have that resource. So, but it's great to be here.
Well, and we're, kind of talking about this because I said, Terry, when he walked in, I said, is this your last visit with me? Because you're retiring.
Yeah.
When's the retiring date?
22nd.
The 22nd. Oh, are you counting down the days?
No, I'm not. It's only just a little over 2 weeks, but I'm not counting.
But here's the thing. I don't think you'll really ever really retire.
No.
That's just not within you.
That's what I told everybody. I said it's just semi, and I'm just looking at the next phase of life.
Mm-hmm. The last time I saw you was at the Veterans Day thing at Greenbrier. And by the way, I need to talk to Coach Wood too. We have one of my students put that together in a nice video. I will send that out to y'all. He got it done right before Thanksgiving, and I just forgot to send it to y'all. But we do have a copy of that. We've got a really good copy this year for you.
Outstanding.
And I think you'll be very pleased with it. But we appreciate it. So are you still going to show up at those things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I love it. And so are you ready to take the helm then on the 23rd? Or when will the offices be closed with holidays coming up? Because the 23rd would be that's a Saturday. So you're going to be done on the 22nd.
Yeah.
So you'll be coming back after Christmas. In charge, right, Scott?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Scott's like, she's not talking to me. But so when will the office open back up after Christmas?
Be the Wednesday after Christmas.
Okay.
Because Monday and Tuesday, that's the 25th, 26th. So
y'all take off the 26th. Because since we typically with the way the Christmas holiday falls, if Christmas Eve or Christmas Day fall on the weekend, you get an extra day. So is that kind of how it's working? Yeah. So you're going to take on, so they'll be back in the office on the 27th, which is an appointment day.
No, Wednesdays.
No, that's the open call day. That's the walk-in day. Yeah. So you will open back up. Your first day in charge will be a walk-in day.
That's it.
Let's go.
And, try to remind everyone, it is the end of the month. It's the end of the year. So if you're deciding that that's the day you finally give in that you want to do your claim, there's a good probability that you're not going to have everything you need
Yeah.
for us to get it done and get in that day.
So, just come on and start the relationship.
Yeah.
Start the relationship and become impatient.
Mm.
Because it'll be a busy place around that. I mean, that whole building will be rocking on that day because it'll be the end of the year, and everybody's like, "I got to get this done before the end of the year," and so you'll have a lot of people around.
And I was on Veterans Day, of course. I talked at the senior center that day after being at the high school, and I had a couple questions and stuff that we fielded, and one of the things I told people is like, you know, with what we do, you just rip that Band-Aid off before you come in because we don't have time to sugarcoat it. And there, as I've told Scott, and Scott knows, there's people that like me, there's people that don't. And the ones that don't is usually didn't want to hear what they had to be told. And, they shut down at that point and didn't want to listen. So they go ahead and get their own idea. Well, the VA is, they're shunning us. They're not doing anything for us. No, there's requirements for everything we have to do. And if we do anything that is frivolous or fraudulent, that can cost us a fine, can cost us jail time, can cost us our credentials. So, they don't think about that because what's really great is how the office is set up now. Couldn't ask for anybody better than Scott and Gwen and Abigail being in the office right now. And because the flip side of that is having someone just hands you some paper and say, here, you fill this out and bring it back.
Yeah. You've got people that will help you through that, the process of the confusion of it all. And, and the fact that you've got the military background, I know Gwen's background, she was raised in a military family. So she spent time, she's just been all over the world really as a military kid. Now, Scott, what is your background? Get back up on that microphone for me.
I spent 20 years as a medic in the Air Force, retired in 2015.
God bless you.
And, moved up here in 2015, been here since in Hendersonville. And it's always, I said last time I was on the show, it's nice to have that connection, an immediate connection when families or veterans walk into the office. They might be there paying their taxes and they happen to see our sign. And so that's the biggest reason I'm here is to really get the word out to the listeners that, hey, at 505 South Brown Street, the main Robertson County City building, we're there. And at some point, whether it's the vehicle tags or the property taxes, you're going to be in that building anyway. If you have any questions, we're there to help, and that's Terry said, Gwen and Abigail, who's a young girl that's just started with us. She was a service officer out in Cheatham prior to coming to us. So she has hit the ground running. And the biggest reason I'm confident in taking over the helm from this gentleman to my right is because of the team we've got. It's a very strong office, and looking forward to it.
So tell me, you're going to do great. I know I'm excited for you for your retirement. I'm going to miss seeing you though. All these people that step away that I'm used to seeing every month, it's hard. I'm like, what am I going to do? But I'm excited to have you coming into the office. And you mentioned Abigail. Tell me a little bit about her background. Now, she a military background. What's her story?
She's not. Abigail's young. And she, her mom works downtown at the regional office and
in Nashville.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And she helps veterans with claims and on the appeal side.
Okay.
So when the VA makes one of their decisions to deny, her mom and her mom's team steps in to help. So Abigail, her mom's been doing it for quite a few years, and so I think Abigail that encourages Abigail to want to do the best she can. We have high expectations for the office. We can't do. Sometimes we can't do something for a veteran or a family just because of the the limits and constraints put on us by the VA. But I can tell you that we do a lot more than most offices when we dig and we find out before we say there's nothing. I always want to confirm that, you know, and try to find a direction to point them into versus saying there's nothing we can do.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Abigail, she's been with us how long, Terry? Now,
She started back September, August.
As you were getting ready for this retirement, you needed to bring that other person in. So, are all three of you guys then full time, or do you have part time?
No.
You're all three full time.
Correct.
It's needed, guys. I mean, you guys wear them out. Knowing Gwen comes in here all the time, and she's one of my co-hosts on Faith Friday, and so she talks about just the time that is put in, and I mean, you guys are not letting any moss grow under your feet, man. You're moving fast and a lot going on because there's a lot of need. And I think that's wonderful. But I'd love to meet her sometime. I haven't met her yet, so I look forward to meeting her.
I mean, she comes from a family of veterans, so that all extends back on her uncles and grandparents and all. And so they kind of set high standards there too.
Oh yeah, I mean anybody who has, having had a child that served, I mean it just changes your whole perspective about veterans once you've had somebody close to you that's put the uniform on. And you just want, and I was there long before that because y'all know my story of being close to a young man that died in Vietnam. So I've always had just this fire for protecting our veterans. And man, I grew up in the hippie era, and I didn't like them at all. I didn't like the attitude toward our military. I was very young and impressionable, and I mean, just made me such an advocate for our veterans. And I'm so thankful for what you guys do and what you do. Ken Gamble, got to get him in here and get an update on all the Orange Heart stuff and all the things going on in that regard. But we've got a whole new generation with the ones that were with the burning pits and all of those things that happened.
Yeah.
And we don't take very good care of our veterans when they're serving. It's like, oh, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah.
And they serve and they do their duty.
See, anyone who hasn't served or has had family that they have actually talked to them about it. I think there's times they think, well, it's just a 7 to 4 job. No, it's 24/7.
Absolutely.
You go on leave, you're still subject to be called back.
You better
early.
believe it.
And there's, it's not taking a long vacation or anything. If you take a couple of days, that's usually doing really good. I think the most I ever took at one time, I took 7.
Yeah, while you were serving.
Yeah, and that was, I still had a bunch of days to turn cash back in when I discharged out because I didn't use them all.
When you think about the life events that happen while you've got a loved one serving, I think about, the Christmases and the holidays that were missed when he was in Afghanistan and when he could not leave. Maybe he was in country, but he was on base and it just didn't fall where his leave worked with our holidays. You think about the births of children that our service people miss. Of course, I guess the women don't because they got to be there. But the dads, you think I've got military friends that, missed births of children. I know that one was a reserve. I have a friend that was a reservist, and when 9/11 happened, and when her son was born, he was wherever. And I remember that so vividly because it was just like just circling around her because who would have thunk that was going to happen, you know? So,
and one of the things as you move up in rank and you become section chief or platoon sergeant on up, if you're a good one, typically you're going to make sure your people are taking their time to go see family and stuff. So you put yourself on the back burner.
Right. Absolutely. We're talking with Scott Erwing. We're talking with Terry Wilson. They are with our Veterans Service Office here in Robertson County, the best one ever. I say in the state, in the nation. Yeah, let's just go there. Let's just say it. Because, they take good care of our people. And it's one of those things that it's just, it's been so interesting to hear how it began with somebody just wanting to be compassionate to the veterans, and it was not a paid position, and then it became something, and it's just grown to what it needs to be. And every community needs this for our veterans because we cannot let them fall through the cracks, and far too many people do. Now we're going to pause and we're going to take a break. I want to remind y'all that this is Wednesday, and that means Go Show's coming up with Lee Marie, my friend, and she'll be in here momentarily, so don't go anywhere at 8 o'clock and stay tuned for her. But I also want to remind you, too, about Cumberland Connect. Today is the day we talk about Cumberland Connect, and if you're not connected with Cumberland Connect, you just don't know what you're missing. Are you connected yet?
I am.
Oh, Terry finally got hooked up. Okay, because you were one of the last, right? Because I wonder if Senator Roberts has gotten his yet. I don't think so. He said he would let me know the minute they get him connected, but he's been pretty busy right now.
And I think they've started getting some of the folks set up in the Springfield side of Cross Plains on 25.
Well, that's down toward,
because I know my neighbor behind me that's on 25. He's already got his request in, and some good friends of mine does too.
Well, I'll give Senator Roberts, because we're pretty sure that Senator Roberts is going to be the last one, which just shows they didn't play favorites. It was funny because whenever we had Mayor Vogel coming in, Mayor, he'll be in after the commissioner meeting, but Chris Causey and Mayor Vogel both kind of live in the outskirts. And so they ended up getting it kind of early, and they're like, well, yeah, the mayor and the director of schools. It's like, well, our state senator is going to be the last. So no, it was purely based on where you lived.
Yeah.
They were taking care of the folks that were, underserved first. And I got it. I'm just about to approach my 1-year anniversary of Cumberland Connect, and still haven't got my extender. I've just been so busy, but I'm going to get it into my barns because we're setting up the barns as a place for photography and all of that. So we're getting there. Just give us time. We've been busy. Are you Cumberland Electric? Cumberland Connect?
And AT&T.
Oh, okay. Well, God bless you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I know how AT&T goes. But anyway, but all of you guys that are Cumberland Electric customers, you're going to have access, and it is wonderful. And $80 is the Gig Club. Did you join the Gig Club?
Well, yeah.
Of course. Of course. And but $80 may sound like a lot to some people. Well, guess what? Because it is a utility now, it has replaced our phone lines. They have made provisions for those in need, and there is an affordable connectivity program. And if you qualify, you could get up to $30 credit towards broadband services. And guess what? They have packages starting at just $30 per month. You can find out more at going to cumberlandconnect.org, cumberlandconnect.org, or go to 1-800-987-2362, 1-800-987-2362. Tell them that all the folks here at 1100 WSGI sent you, and thank them. And all the folks we call them sweet over. Terry Wilson, Scott Erwing, Terry in the house. Terry's getting ready to retire. So it's about time Scott got back in here. So got to get into the routine of it all. He's been sending Gwen, because Gwen's know how with this. And but y'all need to just, all three of you, come in next in January. So I want to meet Abigail and all the folks, but we'll just have to get everybody in here. But Terry will still be around. He'll still be involved. So, but what do we need to talk about? Is there something particular coming up for veterans other than just, hey, it's the holidays? If you're, end of the year, if you're thinking about making donations, this is the time to do it, because we're done with turkey shoots until spring. And it's just that time of the year that if you've got a veteran, say that if they need help, to reach out.
One of the things that I tell people each year, and especially during the wintertime and and during the heat of the summer, is if you got an elderly person that lives close to you, check on them.
Right.
Check, see how they're doing. Are they needing something from the store because they don't drive and they haven't had anybody to go for them or to take them. Try to remember how things were years ago when you actually knew your neighbor, and well enough to where they just walked in just like it was their house and you walked in theirs.
Mm-hmm.
But check on them, see how they're doing. If they've just lost a loved one, check on them. Let them know that you're thinking about them. I mean, it doesn't take 2 minutes just to say, hey, I just wanted to check and see how you's doing. Do you need anything?
Mm-hmm.
And, check on them during this time of year, because the last thing we want is for people to be in their homes with no heat, um, or sitting there with no food when that is a simple problem to rectify. We've got food banks all across the county, open at various times. Um, we keep for our veterans and surviving spouses. We try to keep some $25 Kroger cards at the office so that we can, try to help them with if they're needing gas in their vehicle or if they're needing to get food. And we use those according to case by case basis. And we do keep a record of all where we do send all that because we do report it on our monthly report, even though that's something that's provided uh, by outside groups or by individuals that make that donation. Um, if somebody says, hey, I'm going to go out buy four $25 gift cards. That's going to make me feel good this time of year.
Yeah.
And they just want to drop them off at the office. Hey, that's great. We'll use them. Maybe not right now, but we will use them. Or they might just want to take it over to their neighbor and say, hey, here, you need a ride to the store? And, we had some gift cards that was provided. And you don't have to tell them that they came out of your pocket.
Mm-hmm.
You can say, hey, we got some gift cards provided to us, and we thought of you and just want to make sure you're okay.
Mm-hmm. I love that. It's a great idea.
Yeah. And it's something that you can do. Just checking on them doesn't cost you anything. Cost you a little bit of time.
And you might find out some amazing stories. There are people, in the older generation that served. I find out people all the time that serve. I love that people wear the hats and they identify themselves. I know whenever you were at the Veterans Day thing and we had the guys, and there was a couple of the younger guys were like, well, I don't wear clothes identifying myself. It's like, well, I wish you would, because I'd like to thank you. Yeah. And I appreciate that. I mean, he was, he's like, didn't want to draw attention, but I'm like, no, let us know who you are. And a lot of times I'll see these, older folks with the hats and stuff, and man, I just love to love on them. And when you start talking to them, I'll even have a conversation. When did you serve? And what's your story? And man, some of them don't want to talk about it, but for those that do, you will hear some fascinating tales if you will just take a moment to pause and be interested in what's going on. It will bless you, and you will start that relationship that we were talking about, right?
Yes, ma'am. Something we've got going on, Terry and I were talking about before we came on the air is the office does a Christmas box food delivery every year about this time, and we're kind of putting a list together. We do have some open spots. Typically, we say veterans or widowed spouses of veterans. But you know what? I think Terry and I are on the same page. If there's someone in need, if a veteran or widowed spouse or not, if there's someone in need, please let us know.
Mm-hmm.
And we will make sure that, come next week on Friday, when we deliver those boxes, that we reach out to that person. So it's this office is all about doing what we can to help as many as we can.
Mm-hmm.
It's not you're not in our county. We can't do nothing for you. We haven't been like that, and I don't see us ever being like that. We'll do what we can.
Well, and I've had folks from out of county because I have so many relationships up in Nashville, because that's where my entire career, most of my career has been. And I'm, affiliated with the church up at the corner of Old Hickory Boulevard and Gallatin Road, Madison Church of Christ. Been there since 1989, and I meet a lot of people who have they need to know what's going on with veterans, and I've pointed them to you, and y'all have been so helpful when you can. And the boundaries of the county, they don't stop the giving, and it's just this is that time of year that we all kind of are mindful of it. But if you get the relationship going with the veterans office here, the Veteran Service Office, it just gives you an opportunity to serve and continue that relationship on through the. I brag on my friend Lee Marie all the time. She blows my mind. She moved here from California. I want to say 5, 6 years ago. Just hit the ground running, and she's everywhere. And I've not seen anybody in this community that's more service-minded to the veterans as a volunteer than she is. And just, we all need to be doing that and, use that as an example. But, and I'll embarrass her. She'll be like, cut it out. But I mean, she's one that just has really hit the ground running. That came in and made our county her home, and we all need to be more like that.
And I've talked with different counties, and I talked to service officers across the state, and I'll have a lot of them. They'll say, "Well, we don't get any support from our commission, from our mayor." And first thing I ask them is, "Do they know what you're doing every month? Do you give a report?
Yeah.
Do you tell them how much money's coming into the county?
Mm-hmm.
How many veterans you have? How many claims you're doing them?" No. Well, why not?
Mm-hmm.
I said, I can grant you, if you ask our county mayor how much is coming into the county, he's going to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask our county commissioners, 9 times out of 10, every one of them's going to tell you.
And explain that, because as we talk about, we can say to people who are new to this, when we talk about what's coming into the county, we're talking about people who have made claims that they didn't even know they were eligible for.
Right.
It's now bringing in assistance for them that have served, but it's also bringing dollars into your community that's being spent that helps your tax base, because if it's being spent local. So give them that rundown of numbers, if you would, just to kind of put that in perspective, because it's staggering.
Yeah.
It is staggering.
For fiscal year 22, we hit $49.2 million. Now, that's direct and indirect aid that through the VA that actually comes into the county. Now, some of that falls under medical, because we have folks that come out of Robertson County to the VA. I'm one of them. And it all that comes together with their grants and everything else they do. So $49.2 million. That's a big chunk of change.
You better believe it.
That was a 20% increase over fiscal year 21.
And what was it years ago? Kind of give that background, because that's what blows my mind, is how this started and how it kind of built up. Can you kind of tell that story while we have a moment?
I think in 2015,
which is not even 10 years ago.
2015, I think we were around 10 or less.
10 million?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or less. So, in 6 years' time, 7 years' time, you can see where we've come.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot of work to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of hours. And as I've tried to tell people, you can spend over 200 hours just on a claim. You could spend that much just trying to get the proof you need to prove they were there.
Mm-hmm.
Because stuff is not as easy as it seems. There's organizations that only handle post 9/11. If they're Desert Storm, oh well, so sorry. If it was before 9/11, that's it. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
They'll tell you, well, here's where you need to go. We don't handle those. Unlike a lot of them, it doesn't matter if it was Korea, World War II, Vietnam, Desert Storm, post 9/11. We're going to work as equally as hard on all of them. The hardest ones are typically the ones before 9/11. And it's because it's so hard to find some of the records. A lot of the people don't have them. They weren't digitized. And so that does make our job a lot tougher. Then, especially when we get into the Vietnam time frame, is trying to put that ship in the nautical waters, 12-mile nautical miles of Vietnam. It took me 7 years to find the proof I needed to prove that one ship was there, because VA said, oh, no, it wasn't there. 1967 was the last time it was there. No, it was there in 1974 and 1975 when my guy was on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
And it took that long for us to find where somebody finally told their story to where we could go and nail down that time frame. And now, mysteriously, the VA has found the deck logs that prove that.
Isn't that amazing?
It is.
That's
but
incredible.
there was nothing on it. So there's a lot of things that go into it. There's a lot of work. We like for everything to be as fully developed as possible. That way we're not having to continually feed stuff to the VA and trying our best to keep it off that slow boat to where it's not moving at a snail's pace. It moves at a turtle, but still, we take turtle over a snail anytime.
Oh, of course, of course.
And it just takes time. And we tell folks you didn't get this way overnight, majority of the time. So, and you've had this for many years, and we're not going to fix this overnight.
Mm-hmm. So, and we're talking with the Veteran Service Office, and this is really kind of a transitional show for us because Terry is retiring on the 22nd. So when you come back from Christmas, you're going to have Scott Erwin in charge of the office. Of course, Gwen Harder will still be there, and we've got Abigail. What's her last name?
Abigail Ware.
Abigail Ware has joined the force, so you continue to have the three people that you need on staff there. To help with anything. If you have a veteran in your life that is in need, you need to point them to that office and make sure that they've got a relationship with them, whether they have something going on right now or not. Get that relationship going. We're going to pause for just a moment. I'm going to talk about my sponsor, Barry and Rebecca Richards, with the Exit Realty Garden Gate team. If you have been listening to this program for any amount of time, you know that they are one of our oldest sponsors, and we appreciate them so much. They continue to help us out, keeping this program on the air, and they are just such a great asset to the community when it comes to the real estate community. They are cross-Polanians. They've been there, I'm going to say about 28 years now, and so they specialize in Robertson County properties, but they also buy and sell in the surrounding counties and across the state line in Kentucky. Barry and Rebecca, they are married, of course, but they work as separate agents. She is an agent in the White House office. He is actually an agent and a broker here in the Springfield office. They've opened an office right on the square. And if you want to know more, you can go to sellwithbecky.com, or buyrobertsoncounty.com. You can call Rebecca, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. But really, in the Google age, just Google Barry Richards, Exit Realty Garden Gate team, Rebecca Richards, Exit Realty Garden Gate team. You're going to get unique web pages for each one because they do work independently, though they do help each other. You're going to find social media pages, and you're going to find out all about them, their background, their expertise. You're going to find out about Barry's marketing background and how bringing that to the table when it comes to real estate is just priceless. But if you want to connect with them and find out more, just reach out to them today. Again, Rebecca's number, I'll give it to you one more time, 615-504-7425, 615-504-7425. Barry and Rebecca Richards. Team, always let them know you've turned Central. Let's see if we can get Scott to talk to us for a minute. What are we missing, Scott? What are we missing? You said that you got the Christmas boxes. Of course, we want you to really be thinking about the benevolence time for our veterans. But is there anything else as you're taking the helm of the office? It's like, man, Terry Wilson's out of here. I'm going to do this. No, I'm kidding. I'm just putting you on the spot. I'm messing with you.
I tell you what, it's probably I believe things happen for a bigger reason, a bigger picture than I think when I came on board with Terry in 2019, been fortunate enough to find him, and it worked out where Dan Riley was here. Mm-hmm. Dan was looking to retire and move on, and I could come in here and sit with Terry, and I've learned from him. He's without question the best in the state, and but Terry just didn't get that way overnight. What drives Terry is his heart for veterans, mm-hmm. heart for families, especially the widowed spouses, the kids. And so I already had that coming in. So Terry taught me the VSO, the service officer portion of it. My heart is to help veterans and do everything I can. There's a lot this office does that people don't know about, like we were talking this morning. And when chances are given, opportunities are given, sometimes we'll get, we'll put those things out there that we were able to help or do, and because it's not something we just advertise. But the thing that's sticking in my mind this morning is Terry and I talked on Monday. We've lost 3 veterans we were working with in a week. Mm. And our, a lot of our Vietnam veterans, they're passing away at a quick rate. And, we're sitting there helping him with the claim. He was just in my office a month ago, and, he's no longer with us. And so, if you know veterans families, if you're one yourself, please come see us. I'd love to take a look. The office will take a look at everything you got. We'll see what we can do, um, and help in absolutely any way we can. So I think that things have lined up. I'm very fortunate, very happy to be here, to be in the spot that we're in, and to have learned and worked with Terry. And Terry, like you said earlier, Terry doesn't have retirement in his vocabulary, and so he's gonna. I know Terry's reachable, easily, so he'll be active. I know he will, and so if there are things that come into the office that he and I need to kind of look at together, I know Terry's there.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes there's some complicated 7 years to solve a claim. Sometimes there's some complicated cases out there, but we'll look at it.
Very good. And if you the big thing is, if you've got a veteran in your family, give them the gift of this connection. If you're wanting to do something, I don't know, make them an appointment, make an introduction, do something. Maybe promise to, write them a card and say, I am going to take you to introduce you to the Veteran Service Office, because so many are reluctant to just. I talk to veterans all the time. When did you serve? And are you aware of this? Are you aware of that? Well, I came back with all my parts and pieces. It's like you like to say. So I don't have any need. But then when you come to find out about it, they were exposed to. I talk to kids all the time about family members that have passed, and they died young. I'm like, what did they die of? Oh, they served in Vietnam. They died of this, that. And I said, that is something that was connected to Agent Orange. Well, I said, your people, whoever your grandparent is, the surviving spouse, you need to make sure they're aware of it, because it could be a benefit to your family, and they served, and your family deserved it. And so you just need to pursue these things. And there's just so much out there. Just make the connection, guys. Start these relationships.
I'll give you a good example on this.
Okay.
And this was back early days at the office, and I was going and visiting different organizations when they had their meetings and talking to them. And I had one gentleman, he says, well, I don't need anything. I said, well, then at least, he goes, I've already done a prepaid funeral. I said, well, bring that in. Let us put it on file. Put your marriage certificate and your DD-214 on file. Let us do that. And then from there, we'll, if you need us for something, we've already got this started.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, that's fine. But if your wife needs something, we already have it here. She doesn't have to go look for it.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, okay. So him and his wife, they came to Greenbrier, and we sat down and we talked, and we're sitting there, and I'm putting his stuff in, and I'm looking at his 214. Well, he was boots on ground, Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And so we start talking about different things. Oh yeah. He goes, I've had diabetes for quite a while. I said, oh really? He goes, yeah. He said, I'm on medication. It's all okay now. And I'll watch what I eat. Okay. Well, we get through. I've got his stuff scanned up, got it put in there. And I said, I just need your signature on this. And he goes, what's that? I said, well, that's your claim for diabetes.
Mm-hmm. What did he say?
He was like, really? He was shocked.
Mm-hmm.
VA actually gave him money for his disability because of the diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we come forward, I think that was back in 2015. We come forward, and now he's, unfortunately, his health has declined some. He's had some different health issues. He's now 100%.
100% disability that he didn't even know he was eligible for.
Right. And it all started because he brought his paperwork in just so we could put it on file.
Just to get the relationship started. And he ended up having a benefit they didn't even know he had.
And another good thing, too, and John West, up in the Register of Deeds, if anyone, it doesn't matter if you are a Tennessean or you're an implant like I am, you can take your DD-214, bring it up to them, and they will register it and put it on file so that it makes it easier that if family needs something, they're able to come find it. And also, you never know if something happens to you. You know, you may have family doing genealogy. Well, they're going to find out when they start searching. Hey, they lived in Robertson County for 40 years,
Mm.
but they were from Washington State.
Mm-hmm.
How'd they end up there? Well, hopefully they've done that. But John said definitely bring those in and let them go ahead and register them, have them in the records, so that if you misplace yours or unfortunately have a fire, it's easy to replace then.
Mm-hmm. I tell you, just so many things. And as we're talking with about this, is just that time of the year where you just kind of gather your thoughts, and you do a lot of times have some time off to take care of some of these things. Contact the Veteran Service Office. Scott, why don't you go ahead and give us the hours of operation? Talk about the fact that it's a walk-in day on Wednesday. Kind of give us all the particulars. We'll
Yes,
let you
ma'am.
do that for us.
So we're 5 days a week. If you call any of those 5 days of the week between 8 a.m., 4:30 p.m., phone's going to get answered.
Mm-hmm.
And Gwen is really good at kind of filtering, directing the calls and passing messages. So on Monday and Friday, we work from home. It's a hybrid that we're running. And Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we're in the office. Typically, Tuesday and Thursday are appointment based. And Wednesdays, we have walk-in. Some of our veterans do better with just being able to walk in. Some days we get there and our chairs are full.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some long Wednesdays, but that's all right. If they come and see us, we'll get them squared away. Now, one thing Terry mentioned earlier, if a veteran or a widowed spouse, due to their health or transportation, they can't make it to our office, we will go see them. I've done it. Terry's done it many times. We will go see them. So just know that's an option. And, number two, we kind of talked about the veterans that, for whatever reason, I've got all my parts and don't want to file a claim. It struck a chord with my veteran about a month ago when I said, what about your wife?
Mm-hmm.
What about your wife? So I found whatever drives a veteran to file that claim that needs to be filed, whatever, in this case, it was his spouse. So I said, your spouse can continue to get benefits should something happen to you. This is the benefits you've earned.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's not for you and there's an eligible dependent like a spouse, then do it for them,
Mm-hmm.
Well, and something else that I think on that same thought is, what Terry was saying a while ago is when he was trying to prove that a ship was in a certain spot and you had this claim and everybody's like, oh, it wasn't. Somebody filing a claim that verifies that. It's just that extra layer of information that it's like, oh, yes, it was, because look at this person over here is saying you support each other. Maybe you don't have something, but you're thinking, well, maybe I need to go ahead and file this because I know this. You may be the piece of evidence
Absolutely.
that somebody up in, Vermont needs to prove their claim, and I think people just don't realize how everything, it's like you don't, you look at the twists and turns of our lives and the paths we take, that little piece of information that can be just what I talk to my students about, the knowledge doubling curve, because of technology the way it is and how fast we share information, and prior to 1900, it took 100 years for the knowledge of the world to double. Now it doubles at the rate of at least every 12 hours. And you think about that. So you've got information that here can validate something across the country or across the globe. It moves like this now. And so the things that you share can make all the difference in the world. It can make all the difference in the world. And it can be that one piece of information that somebody else needs. Maybe it's not a big deal for you. It may be life-changing for them.
Mm-hmm.
So file those claims. Make sure you have a relationship with your Veteran Service Office, because we've got the best one ever, not just in the state, in the country. And I know you're gonna do really well.
Thank you,
Scott. You've been there. You said when did you join the office?
Got here in 2019.
2019.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you've been there a minute. You got this. And Terry, we're gonna miss you, bud. Are y'all gonna have a party or something? Or y'all gonna send him off? You need to
We're not
have
just
a
gonna,
cake or something.
He won't just get to ride off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be not a retirement thing. It would be sending the old goat to pasture.
Yeah. Well, it's like when I retired from my position at WLAC, they laid me off in the middle of my shift. So I know y'all will take better care of him than they did me up in Nashville at WLAC. That's radio.
But we take better care of our people here.
My wife was talking and said about doing something maybe on that Friday afternoon.
Sure. Absolutely.
And I told her, I said, you can do a changing of the guard.
There you go. There you go. I like that.
I said, everybody can line up and passing colors.
There you go. You're fun. Well, I know everybody will be there to say thank you. And we'll just continue to say thank you for all you do, Terry, because are you going to continue to be involved with the American Legion and all
yeah.
You're still, yeah.
I've been a post commander there for 10 years.
Okay, so that's not going to
let
change.
me out.
So that's not changing.
No.
Okay.
No.
So like I said, I feel like I'm still going to see you plenty, just not every month. So, yeah. But I'm excited to continue to get to know you, Scott. It'll be fun. So, anything we're missing, guys? We got a couple of minutes here. We got a few minutes to wrap it up. I mean, as far as major events, there's nothing coming up here at the end of the year, first of the year. When do you gear back up with an event that you're like, hey, save the date? Well, we've got
March.
Okay. So
Vietnam Veterans Day.
That's what I was going to say. I said it's going to be Vietnam Veterans Day right out of the gate.
Yeah. That's I believe that's pretty much our first event of the year.
Okay.
And then we just kind of take off from there.
Pretty much,
up and through November.
Yeah, it stays and it's hopping. And when do your turkey shoots start up in the spring?
In the spring, we have been doing April. We do the whether it's 4 or 5 Saturdays in April, we'll do that, and then we'll start back up again
in the fall.
Yeah.
So, which just moves like this. It just moves like that. So, and we'll have, of course, the Memorial Day, Veterans Days, and all the things that we have as we go throughout the course of the year. And y'all usually do something special for 4th of July. And so, I mean, just, get your calendar out and pencil in the things, or maybe put a pin on it with the things that you want to be a part of that honor our veterans. Can't say enough about Vietnam Veterans Day. And the way we do the placing of the latest plaque that goes into the Orange Heart Medal memorial that is there at Springfield Memorial Gardens.
Yeah.
That's the tradition for us for Vietnam Vets Day, of course. And if you want to be we'll have to get Ken in, because now would be a really good time. Maybe if you want to give a gift of somebody to get their name on that memorial. Do you know where that status is right now? Are they looking for names? Or they already have the next placard done? Or
well, I know they have. I believe they've got one done. They're working on the next one. If we can get it completed in time, it will be going up as well.
Okay.
But for $150, and I mean, if you haven't seen the monument, if you've been down 41. Past the old co-op where Springfield Memorial is, and you didn't see the monument, then you weren't paying attention.
Correct.
Because it is beautiful. It is beautiful.
And they just placed something out there too recently.
The Blue Star marker. Blue Star family marker was just placed out there on actually on Veterans Day, November the 11th. And so we're very happy to have that there. And it's very hard to, typically that will not go on private land. And so we have been able to get the exception for the Gold Star and the Blue Star both, and to have those out there, which is great, so that we can recognize, and it's a way to recognizing the families, because when a veteran serves, they serve too.
You better believe it.
And because they worry, they pray, and and a lot of hand twisting moments and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So
when that phone rings and you've got, I mean, just anytime you've got somebody. When you think about the veterans that we lost from Fort Campbell that were just training, you say they were training, not just training, they were training, and you don't think about the risk. When when my son was in Afghanistan, I was a wreck. But I was the same way, even when he was just on base training, because I knew accidents happen, and that tragedy that we lost so many. I think we lost 6. Was it 6 at Fort Campbell? And I mean, just they were on their training, and it just shouldn't happen. And it's just the family serve, guys. The family serve. Honor them. Absolutely honor them. Parting thoughts. We're the same as out of time. Anything that you want to say on your way out, and then Scott will let you finish it off. Anything?
Scott is the man.
All right, you the man. He's like, you're going to embarrass him. So, well.
I'm working in his shadow now.
I love it.
That's what he says. But yeah, if just, my biggest emphasis, we're here. Please come see us. 615-382-6506.
One more time on the phone number.
615-382-6506.
Okay, there you go.
Come by and see us.
Absolutely. This is the Veteran Service Office, best one in the nation, y'all, right here in Robertson County. And they are in the city building where you go and get your tags and all that. First floor, you just go, where you see the tags and all that, just going down the hall to the left, and you're down, how many doors on the left? Are you the first or?
First office on the left.
That's what I was thinking. First office on the left. You can't miss them. Today is a drop-in day if you want to just stop in and say hi and give old Terry a hug and say, enjoy your retirement and Merry Christmas and all the things. Drop off some gift cards. Give them some cash that they can help bless some of our veterans with. Today'd be a really good day to do that. So, yeah. Amen. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. This has been One Street Over. Stay tuned for the Ghost Show coming up next with my friend, Sweet Lily Marie. Stand by.